This is a picture of our family ranch. This picture was taken in 1960. So in this segment, in this next 3 hours, I'm going to go and sing a song and then tell a story, and then I'll play an instrumental on the accordion. This first song is me and Bobby McGee in C. Busted flat and Baton Rouge, heading for a train. Faded nearly faded as my jeans. Bobby found the diesel down just before it rained. It took us all the way to New Orleans. I took my dirty red bandana and was blowing sad while Bobby sang the blues. With his windshield wipers clapping time and Bobby clapping hands in mine, we sang up every song that driver knew. Freedom, just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't nothing, but it's free. Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. Buddy, that was good enough for me. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. From the coal mines of Kentucky to the California sun, Bobby sang the secrets of my soul. There, we can get done. He kept me from the cold. And somewhere near Selena's Lord, I let her slip away, looking for the home I hope she'll find. I trade all my tomorrows from one sun single yesterday, holding Bobby's body next to mine. Freedom, just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't nothing, but it's free. Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. Buddy, that was good enough for me. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. Glasses here. I'm going to tell you a story about there's a guy many years ago, over 50 years ago. I was living in this house over here in the other place, you know, and I was living alone in that house there, and and in calving time there's a guy by the name of Henry Nate, and everybody called him Hank. And old Hank was a real character, you know, and when it was calving time, he'd come down, he'd drive his little tractor around, you know, and he'd come down and he'd just have a box of clothes and he'd walk right in my house you know, I didn't hire him or nothing, or invite him or nothing. You know, in calving time, he'd just go and say, "Oh, I got to go and stay with you. I'll help you out." Calving time, you got to have somebody to help you. And so he'd stay, you know, till calving time. So that was Hank. This song here was, oh, I got everything wrong. I didn't prepare here. Yeah, there. Oh yeah, my mother played this tune. The Rapier Band March. It's an old march. She played by note though. So Hank was, and he'd always be restless in the house. He loved people, you know. He liked to go to the bar, you know, any excuse. And you know, like I was trying to watch TV, you know, and he'd get restless in the house, and he'd go over to the radio in the other room, and he'd put the radio on, go through all the stations and everything, then shut the radio on. Then he'd go to the other side of the house, and he'd put the other radio on and go through all the stations, you know. And then he'd hint about going to town, you know, and, "Oh, I should really see John. I got to see John sometime. I could see him tonight. I think he'd be in town. And Louis, you know, I should tell him about that before, you know." And he'd be going and walking back and forth, pacing, you know. Then after a while, you know, "Okay, Hank, get your coat. Let's go to town." And so we'd go to town, and then on the way to town, "Oh, heck, I could see John another time. That's not that important. As far as Louis goes, well, it don't matter too much. I'll see him another time. And, well, now that we're in town, let's have a quick beer. Let's go in and, you know how that goes." So that was Hank. But he was a was a good help around, you know, in calving time. But what a character he was. This was a Wolverton Mountain. I don't know why I just can't see anything. Damn, I got my glasses. Say don't go on Wolverton Mountain if you're looking for a wife. 'Cause Clifton Clower has a pretty young daughter and is mighty handy with a gun and a knife. Her tender lips are sweeter than honey, and Wolverton Mountain protects her there. The bears and the birds tells Clifton Clowers if a stranger should wander there. All my dreams on Wolverton Mountain, I want his daughter for my wife. I'll take my chances and climb that mountain, though Clifton Clowers may take my life. Her tender lips are sweeter than honey, and Wolverton Mountain protects her there. The bears and the birds tells Clifton Clowers if a stranger should wander there. I'm going up on Wolverton Mountain, it's too lonesome down here below. It's not right to hide his daughter from the one who loves her so. Her tender lips are sweeter than honey, and Wolverton Mountain protects her there. The bears and the birds tells Clifton Clowers if a stranger should wander there. But I don't care about Clifton Clower. I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna get the one I love. I don't care about Clifton Clower, and I'm gonna get the one I love. I don't care about Clifton Clower, and I'm gonna find the one I love. I don't care about Clifton Clower. Yeah, Hank, you know, he was a bugger though to try and get him to take a bath or to clean his clothes. You know, he'd always wear these white striped overalls, and these overalls got so dirty, you know. And, oh, he was trapping and everything, and oh, so I'd wait till he goes to bed, you know, and then I'd take that overall and I throw it in the wash, you know, and wash it and dry it. And, oh, in the morning he'd be mad. And, no, you ruined my overall. It don't fit properly now, and the wind blows right through it now. And oh, he was going like that. And then I'd try to get him to take a bath, you know. And a few times I just pushed him right into the bathroom, you know. And then there's no lock on it, so I just held the door. And I said, Hank, take a bath, and he'd cuss and swear in there, you know. Oh man, I can't believe that we done all that stuff. Instrumental tune. This is a Don Messer tune, Rippling Water Jig. Darn little. went to town to the bar, me and Hank, and Hank was sitting at another table with some guys, and I was sitting at another table with my back to him. Hank didn't know I was there, you know, so I could hear everything he was saying, you know, to these guys, and these guys would ask him, "Well, Raymond, he's not a bad guy to work for, is he? He's okay." "Oh, yeah, Hank, he's okay." And then he'd exaggerate something, you know, and you know, that I wasn't really treating him real good, you know, and stuff. And he'd start kind of exaggerating, and then he said, "Well, you know, I told Raymond, boy, like tonight he started out with that bathing jazz again, Oh my man. This is the bed of roses, you know. It's an old tool. God damn. Geez, I can't find my... Oh God, I'm stumbling around again. It was called the Scarlet Woman by the people who would go to church but leave you on the street. With no parents of my own, I did not have a home, and an 18-year-old boy has got to eat. She found me outside one Sunday morning, begging money from a man I didn't know. Took me in and washed away my childhood. This woman of the streets, this Lady Rose, this bed of roses where I'm lying, where I was born to be a man. This bed of roses where I'm living is the only kind of life I understand. She's a handsome woman, just 35, who was spoken in town by very few. She managed a late evening business, like most of the town wished they could do. I learned all the things that a man should know by a woman not approved of, I suppose. I died knowing that I really loved her. Of life's ramble bush I picked a rose. This bed of roses where I'm lying, where I was born to be a man. This bed of roses where I'm living is the only kind of life I understand. One time, Hank, he went up north to the Red Cross dance. There's in our hall, our community hall, and oh, Hank would always get pretty drunk, you know, and dance, you know, and oh, he'd always be talking and hollering away, and you could hear him from the other end of the hall, you know, and there's one of his brothers, you know, he had a bunch of brothers, but one brother, Leo, you know, they didn't really see eye to eye, Hank and Leo, you know, especially when they were drinking, you know, and you know, something would start up with just over nothing, you know, like Hank would maybe say something like, "Put that cup down, you son of a bitch, you." And then Leo would say, "Who are you calling a son of a bitch?" And they'd go outside, you know, in the winter time, and everybody fight, fight. And all the crowd went out, the whole crowd went around. And Leo took Hank's head and he put it in the snowbank, you know, and Hank he got up and he starts, "Leonate, spearing fish, hunting moose out of season." And Leo just left him go. Oh man. This is Burnt Potato, another fiddle tune, Don Messer fiddle tune. Quite a few years later, this is after I moved up into this house here, Hank was, helped me again in calving time, and he was outside in the daytime, and he was doing some work there near the corrals, you know, and then some young guys drove in, and they came in my house, and that was right up Hank's alley, you know, to see these young guys come along, and you know, Hank, you know, he just loved to go and visit, and you know, and have a drink, of course, and just loved that, you know. So these guys come in, and I says, would you like a shot of rye? And oh yeah, and so they all poured themselves a drink. And this one young guy, he says, hey, let's fool Hank. And so they got an empty bottle and whiskey bottle, and they put water in it, you know, and then they took some, I had some food coloring or something there in the cupboard there, and they put that in, make it look like whiskey, you know. And so here comes Hank in, you know, and he's talking, as he's talking steady, you know, about everything, and Hank, you want a drink? Yeah, I'll have a hot drink. Oh yeah, the water hot. And then he pours himself, you know, that water, and oh, a hot drink, yeah. Oh, honey, I'll have a spoon of honey there, get it. And he's stirring that, and he's talking and talking away, and we gotta fix that road, that culvert's gonna wash out, and then they cut them trees around there and take that wire, that fence off, and he's talking and talking, you know. And these guys are laughing, you know, and he's thinking he's laughing at his story, you know, and you'll laugh too if that road washes out next spring, and you know he was going, and then he'd grab that glass and he'd talk and talk, and he'd lift it part of the way up, and then he'd put it down again, you know, and talk and talk and talk. Then he'd stir around there. Then he'd lift that glass up again and talk and talk and talk, and put it down again. Then finally he quit talking. Then he took a big drink. You son of a bitches, what did you put in here? She threw it at the cupboard. This Don't Be Angry, this Porter Wagner's done it. I guess the Hank Williams song. Oh, dang it, I can't see here. Oh, gee, those songs are old. Oh, I just got hundreds of them. You know, the songs, some of the songs, the writing is faded, you know, the old books. I'm just going through every other one, you know. Understand all your little whims and wishes all the time. Just remember that I love you, and like any foolish man, my mind's been kind of foggy 'cause you're mine. Well, I recall that first time I flirted with you, dear, when I jokingly said, come and be my bride. Now time has turned the pages. It's the sweetest joke on earth to have you here forever by my side. Don't be angry with me, darling, if I fail to understand all your little whims and wishes all the time. Just remember that I love you, and like any foolish man, my mind's kind of foggy 'cause you're mine. Maybe someday you're gonna hurt me. I've been hurt in love before. Only God can know, and time alone will tell. But in the meantime, I'll keep loving you with all my heart and soul, and pray to God make it last if it be His will. Don't be angry with me, darling, if I fail to understand all your little whims and wishes all the time. Just remember that I love you, and like any foolish man, my mind's kind of foggy 'cause you're mine. And my mind's kind of foggy 'cause you're mine. I'll tell you this story. This is way back. I think it must have been just about 60 years ago. There's a guy that used to live in Paradise Hill, by the name of John Weinhandel, and he had a heavy German accent, and he went to visit his friend Henry Hallbauer. And Henry, he was quite a hunter, you know, and he hunted and fished and everything, and so John, he says with his German accent there, Henry, I would like to go hunting with you sometime. I would like to shoot me and wild turkey, a wild turkey, you know, and then Henry says, well, you know, I know where there's a bunch of wild turkeys, but it's against the law, you know, to shoot them, and so, you know, we could hunt them, but you know, you can't tell anybody. Oh, I don't say nothing. So they went turkey hunting, and then so Henry, he was scare them out. There's turkeys south of Paradise Hill in the gully there, you know. Henry went in the gully to scare them out, and then John Winehill, he went up on the hill south in a field, you know, along the road, and then when he seen somebody come along, you know, a vehicle come along, he hit his gun, you know. He was right beside the road, so and then Mac Weiler, he was driving the school bus, and he seen John standing there beside the road, and he thought he needed a ride, so he stopped. And then John, you know, told him to go, but Mac didn't get it right away, so John, he went over there, and he kind of run over there and stuck his head in the school bus door with all them kids in there, and you know, I am just waiting here. I am Mitt Hallbar. He is down in the gully. We are shooting wild turkeys. Oh, man. What is this? Red River Breakdown. That's a kind of an old fiddle tune, I guess. Many years ago, I had some neighbors, Rosie and Alec Bonarchuk, and they farmed and raised cattle and everything, you know, and oh God, they'd done all kinds of things. They had ducks and geese and sheep and milk cows, oh, just everything, and they, like Rosie, oh man, that woman worked so hard. And Alec, you know, her husband, he depended on her so much, you know, and like Alec would bring home, you know, his friends sometime, even from the bar or from, and there, you know, oh, Rosie will make you supper, huh? And hunters, you know, hunters would stay at his place, and Rosie will fix your room in the basement, and you can stay here and hunting, and Rosie, she'll make supper, and oh, he depended on Rosie, and Rosie, what day was that? And he just depended on Rosie. So Rosie worked and worked, and you know, and it just seems she always was carrying stuff from the barn, milk the cow, carry the milk, carry the skim milk back to the pigs, carry the thing, shear the sheep, carry the wool, but carry the. It just seemed like she was carrying all the time, you know, and work, you know, and Rosie, she had a lot of bad luck. Oh, it just seemed like bad luck would follow her around, you know, and it's not really funny, you know, but yeah, I'll tell you another story after this about Rosie and Ellie. Oh, they were such nice people, you know, they were, oh gosh, and they put on parties all the time. Anybody had a little birthday party or anniversary, they'd come to our house, come to our house. And the Prisoner's Song, that's a real old song. I think I learned this when I was 8 or 10 years old. I wish I had someone to love me, someone to call me their own. I wish I had someone to live with, 'cause I'm tired of living alone. Please meet me tonight in the moonlight. Please meet me tonight all alone. For I have a sad story to tell you. It's a story that's never been told. I'll be carried to a new jail tomorrow, leaving my poor darling alone, with these cold prison bars all around me, and my head on a pillow of stone. Now if I had the wings of an angel, over these prison bars I would fly. I would fly to the arms of my poor darling, and that's where I'd be willing to die. Rosie had a milk cow, and the milk cow name was Daisy, and Daisy got into bad habits, and Daisy could open the chop bin door, you know, and Daisy could open the barn door and open the gates, and everything. So she couldn't put up with that cow anymore, so she took it to the Dollar Day sale in Lloydminster, like there was an auction sale, you know. And somebody from Marshall, the other side of Lloyd, bought that cow. So then a few years later, 5 or 6 years later, that guy brought that cow back to that same auctions mart again, you know. And here if Rosie's close neighbor, Linda Huffman, just lived just less than half a mile from Rosie. And Linda needed a milk cow, so she seen that cow in the ring, you know, and anybody could milk it, a nice big bag on it. And so she bought that cow and took it right up, right next to where that cow came from, you know. And so that cow, you know, in familiar surroundings, you know, pretty soon she opened the gate, and then she opened her familiar old barn door again, and here she went into her familiar old stall again. So Rosie came down to the barn one morning and said, "What the heck's that cow doing in here? Whose cow is that?" And her sister-in-law Frida says, "Gee, that cow looks like that cow you used to have, Rosie, that Daisy." And Rosie said, "No, I sold Daisy years ago." So she went to the house and got her hair clipper, so she clipped the brand there. And she looked, and sure enough, that was her brand on that cow. Sure enough, that was Daisy. There's a Turkey in the Straw. That's kind of just an old tune, old fiddle tune, I guess. One time Rose and Alec, I don't know, one of their relatives or something or whatever it was, I think it was either anniversary or wedding or something. And Alec had a whole bunch of his Ukrainian friends come, like from Halford, and that's where Alec actually came from, is Halford, and so they had a do at the Red Cross Hall, and then the next day was Sunday, and then they had a big party out, you know, on the farm, Rosie and Alex there, and that was the most fun party I think I ever been to in my life, and you know, everybody was outside and in the house too, you know, and so the one thing that it's just one thing after the other all day, you know, like this, and Joe Winehandle was there, and there's a bunch of chickens running loose in the yard, you know, so somebody caught a chicken, and then Joe, he hypnotized that chicken, you know. It's a kind of trick. They put the chicken upside down, you know, and you know, abracadabra, and he was going there, you know, and so that chicken just laid on its back and just laid there like that, you know, and so he hypnotized that chicken, and so after a while, I don't know, there was something, we all went into the house anyhow. There's a bunch of kids out there, and then they told us to come out, you know, come out and look. So those kids, they caught a bunch of chickens, about 10 of them, you know, and they put them all on their backs, you know, like a chicken, when you put them on their back, you know, they won't get up right away, you know, they just stay there. And they says, we hypnotized a whole bunch of chickens, and about 10 of them laying there on their backs. And then there's something else happened. There's a skunk caught in a trap there by the barn, you know, and so there's quite a few people out there, and you know, and somebody says, well, you kill that skunk, don't leave that skunk in the trap. And one guy would say, you know, everybody drinking, you know, and oh, you take that chicken and you take that skunk by the thing. As long as you would grab him there by the head there, and you thing, and that skunk can't spray on you there. That's it. And then somebody else would say something, well, if you take and you put his tail down, then he can't spray you then. So anyhow, this was going on, you know. So this older Ukrainian woman come out, and she was dressed in a nice dress, you know, and everything. And she got mad. She says, you babies, you can't nobody kill that skunk? You babies, you can't kill a little skunk like that. So she took a stick and she went over there and she killed that skunk. And then, holy man, did she ever smell. And then she went in the house, and them kids, you know, oh, they had more fun with that than kids. Here's a tune. Love's Cheating. No. Love's Cheating Line. Carl and Pearl Butler. Boy, they were good singers. My darling, to steal you away. Don't let me cross over, stay out of my way. You know that I love you. I'm not the stealing kind. While I'm faced with this heartache, that love cheating line. Don't let me cross over love cheating line. You belong to another, you'll never be mine. I know one step closer would be heaven divine. Don't let me cross over love cheating line. To forget you, but what else could I do when your eyes keep saying that you love me true? I know if I lose you, not a dream will I have left. I don't want to cheat, dear, but I can't help myself. Don't let me cross over love cheating line. Don't let me sleep, darling, stay out of my way. You know that I love you, not stealing kind. But I face this heartache, that love cheating line. And later on, Alec, he went someplace, and there was a kind of a celebration someplace. I think it was someplace, Hafford or Saskatoon, wherever, and so he was celebrating quite a bit, the night before, and they went to church or something there, and all of a sudden he collapsed, and so they rushed him to the hospital, and in Saskatoon, and they, so the story is that he actually died. He was dead for, I don't know, a few minutes or a minute or whatever it was, and they revived him then. So so when he came out of there, then everybody was saying, oh well, he might not be able to walk again, but if he walks again, he's not supposed to drink anymore. And then, well, Alec, he walked and he drank after and everything, and then he was later on, I don't know, was it a year or two or a couple of years or whatever it was, and he was someplace again and he collapsed. And they took him, rushed him to the hospital, and same thing again. He was dead for a minute or two or whatever it was, and they revived him again, and same thing again. And he won't walk, he can't drink again. Doctor said if he ever drinks, he'll be in a box next time. And he walked, and later on he was the same Alec as he always was, and then Alec did die then, and so everybody was going around, well, not everybody, but some people were going around, and well, I think this time Alec really is dead, and and little wisecracks all the time, and even at the funeral, I remember at the funeral, and somebody would grab your coat there in the next pew there. Do you think Alec will come back from this time? Yeah, but oh, he was a nice guy, though, he really was. But he could really get people together, I'm telling you. The community would really get together, and you know, he liked his parties and that, and people. This is the hardest tune I ever learned to play in all my life, the clarinet polka. Here's a song that must be the most played song at every any jamboree or get together or whatever. Old Log Cabin. Porter Wagner, I guess, sang this song. I was strolling along in the country, renewing old seas new and old. I found an old-fashioned log cabin, so beautiful there to behold. A stranger was standing in silence, with eyes dimly fixed on the door. My heart ached in pity to see him, for these are the words that it bore. And the guy read an old cabin for sale, an old open bucket and well. Easy terms just keep a log on the fire and a light burning bright in the dell. Many years the old couple so patiently wait for their boys who last promised they'd fail. But now he was standing in silence. Too late, yes, too late he'd return. And the sign read, an old cabin for sale, an old oaken bucket and well. Easy turn, just keep a log on the fire and a light burning bright in the dell. A welcome I read on the floor mat, an old braided rug by the door. The hands of an angel had made it, with many a prayer prayed before. In an old rocking chair there she waited, one glimpse of him had she yearned. But now he was standing in silence, too late, yes, too late he'd return. And the sign read, an old cabin for sale, an old oaken bucket and well. Easy terms, just keep a log on the fire and a light burning bright in the dell. Here's a story that my dad told many years ago. My dad was born in Stuttgart, Germany, and he says when he was a kid going to school, they used to have the teacher, well they called the teacher, I guess the schoolmaster, and they had a thing there, if a kid was bad in school during the week, well Saturday came when there was no school, the schoolmaster would come around to the houses and to this kid that was bad, you know, and he'd knock on the door and then call out the name of the kid, and then that kid would step out the door and the schoolmaster would give him a licking, you know. And so anyhow, my dad's brother, Joseph, he was taking out the bedpans, like, you know, the pots underneath the beds in the morning to empty them out, you know, and then he had this one pot out, and he says, "Oh, I hate that schoolmaster, I hate him so much. If his head was right here, I would just like to take his head and stick it in here. If he was here right now, I would just throw this pot right in his face. I hate him so much." And just then there was a knock on the door. "Joseph!" And so Joseph, he opened the door, and before he could think, you know, he threw the pot in right in the schoolmaster's face, and then he really got a licking. This Fiddle and Fingers Polka, it's a Ukrainian tune. Gosh, I can't. tell you a school story. We had this little 70-year-old woman. She's just a tiny little woman, and oh, she was such a good teacher and smart and everything, but you could tell her anything. You could just fool her, you know. It didn't matter what you told her. Like we spread some skunk scent around all over the place just to be bad. Oh, we were such bad kids sometimes. And then and then we would tell her that, oh, that skunk is, there's a skunk outside, you know, and then one of us put her hand, can we go and, can me and Raymond go over to Moser's and get some traps and try and trap that skunk outside? And oh, well, can't you do that another day? Can't you get some, oh no, we better get him now, because he'll dig his way underneath the school, and then he'll dig his way under there, and you'll never get him. And oh, well, if you really think so, and so, okay, we'll send 2 boys over to Moser's, you know, Moser's is a half a mile away, you know, and go over and get some traps. And so me and another kid, you know, would go out, and of course we'd just walk in the bush and would smoke cigarettes, you know. And that's the way we were, you know. I remember the year Clayton Delaney died. Oh, Tom T. Hall, wasn't he a songwriter or something? I can hardly see these words. He knew how to write songs, that boy. I remember the year Clayton Delaney died. You say for the last 2 weeks that he suffered and cried. He made a big impression on me, although I was a barefoot kid. You say he got religion at the end, and I'm glad that he did. Clayton was the best guitar picker in our town. You say, the hero used to follow Clayton around. I often wonder why Clayton, who seemed so good to me, never took his guitar and made it down in Tennessee. Daddy said he drank a lot, but I could never understand. I knew he used to pick up in Ohio in a 5-piece band. Clayton used to tell me, son, you better put that old guitar away. There ain't no money in it, and lead you to an early grave. I guess in about a minute, Clayton taught me how to drink booze. I can still see him picking out the lovesick blues. When Clayton died, I made a promise I was gonna carry on somehow. I'd give $100 if he could only see me now. I remember the year Clayton Delaney died. Nobody ever knew it, but I went out in the woods and I cried. There might be a lot of great preachers who know a lot more than I do, but it could be that the good Lord likes a little picking too. I remember the year Clayton Delaney died. Oh, that school teacher, oh man, how we used to fool her. And one time, she used to sometimes get mad and hit us over the head with a book, you know. Sometimes pretty hard, you know. And one time she hit me over the head with a book, you know, on the side of the head, you know. So it was recess time, and we went outside. Then we, as kids, said, boy, I wish we could find a little blood, or put a little blood coming out of my ear to really scare her, you know. And so this one guy was Raymond Rigadell. his nose always bled, you know. So he made his nose bleed, and the blood, and he put that blood on the side of my face, you know. And so after recess, I went into school, and I would hold my head like side like that, and sitting in my desk, and that blood, you know, on the side. Oh man, we were bad. Yeah, I guess she was a little scared for a while. Oh man. There's a medley of Big John McNeil and what's the other one now? St. Anne's Reel and The Old Man and Woman. That's all fiddle tunes, actually. Well, there's a good friend of mine that I was always with, one of my close friends at school, with Bernard Kuipers. And Bernard, he was quite a daredevil, you know, and he had a horse. That horse was Lady, and he'd make that horse rear up, you know, and he'd say, "Up, Lady," and that horse would rear up, and the kids would be hollering, you know, "Higher, higher," and they'd make that horse rear up higher and higher till that horse just about went over backwards, you know, just real high. And then somebody told his parents that, you know, got wind of that, and old Bernard got hell, you know, and we were always racing around and fooling around with horses like that. Then after a while, Bernard and another friend by the name of Ro McLathan, they were riding to the bush, and somehow Bernard was behind with his horse, and I know the horse maybe, the other horse maybe kicked back or whatever, and Bernard's horse, I think, threw its head and hit Bernard's face, and he was knocked out, you know, and he was laying on the ground, and you know, his face was all smashed, you know, and you know, and then of course when then he went, you know, they got him into Saskatoon, and they reconstructed his face, you know, and everything, and our parents and everybody around, you know, they didn't believe that, you know, that it was just a accident, you know, that we're keeping some stuff from them, you know, how we used to always race around and make them horses rear up and whatnot. And even my older brother, "You little bastards, you lying little," and so on, and we weren't lying, you know, I mean, that it was just an accident, you know. So anyhow, Bernard, he was in the hospital for many months, and then finally he came out, and I remember the first time his dad, Alphonse Kuiper, took him to school, you know, and brought him to school, and oh, the girls, they cried, you know, and they look at his face, and Bernard didn't like that at all, you know, feeling sorry for him, you know, and like that. And so I'm going to sing another song. What did I do now? Oh yeah, in Charlie Shoes, Billy Walker sings this one. Oh, Sam Rollheiser, he used to come up to my jam, he used to always sing this one. Oh, I like to be in Charlie Shoes. Oh, that's what I always said, 'cause he had you and everything tied up in a golden thread. Then Charlie left and went away, and when I got the news, it wasn't long till I was walking round in Charlie's shoes. Now I'm wearing out the shoes that Charlie wore, walking back and forth across the floor. The trouble that drove him away, I've got for company. These nights in Charlie's shoes are killing me. Charlie wore, walking back and forth across the floor. The trouble that drove him away, I've got for company. These nights in Charlie's shoes are killing me. rocking back and forth across the floor. The trouble that drove him away I've got for company. These nights in Charlie's shoes are killing me. These nights in Charlie's shoes are killing me. So anyhow, time went on, and so then one Sunday I decided I'd saddle up my horse and ride over to visit Bernard, you know. So I went over to Kuiper's and so when the house, and then me and Bernard decided to go for a ride, you know, with horses, you know. And then Bernard asked his parents, you know, can I take my horse and go with Raylan, and we're gonna go riding, you know. And so Bernard never was on a horse since, you know, his accident. So he got a lady, and you know, at first he didn't want to let Bernard go riding, you know, but he kept coaxing him, you know, and then yeah, we can go riding. And oh, how old were we that time? I wonder how old we were. Were we 12 or 14 or whatever? Anyhow, I can still remember this one day. Well, I wasn't too crazy about Bernard's dad, Alphonse Kuiper, you know. Well, I don't think Alphonse liked me too good either. He had it in his head that I was a bad boy, you know. And but you know, I really wasn't, you know, that like his boy Bernard was worse than I was for thinking up these crazy stunts and whatnot, you know. He's a worse daredevil than anybody else. So anyhow, we got in our horses and we were going to take off. And Alphonse, he was carrying a couple of pails. And I remember like it was yesterday. And he set them pails down. And he went to Bernard. If I see you as much as rear that horse up one more time, your ass is gonna hurt so bad that you're gonna spend another 3 months in the hospital. And we got on our horses and we walked off. And then we got behind a bluff, you know. And then Bernard pulled his horse to a stop, and he had this mischievous look, you know. Oh, he had his teeth all wired up, his jaw wired with wires and everything. And he pulled his horse to a stop, and he said, "Do you think the old man can see us from here?" And he said, "Up, lady, up," and then made the horse rear up a little bit. And we galloped off. Oh, and Bernard and me, we laughed and we laughed. And yeah, I'll never forget that Sunday. Oh, that was fun. This Curly Hair, it's an old fiddle tune. God, this great fiddle player, Calvin Vollerath, does he ever do a good job of that curly hair? No, it isn't curly hair, but some call it boiled them cabbage down. Yeah, and Calvin, he just, it's such a simple tune, you know. I'll continue on with the story. Me and Bernard were, so I remember we went to a slough and we tied our horses up. And I don't know, we were in the slough and I had all kinds of stuff. We were out all last Sunday that afternoon. And Bernard, he was always smoking. Oh, well, I was smoking too, but Bernard smoked all through school and all his life, you know. He's a heavy smoker, you know. So we were trying to have cigarettes, you know, and our matches were wet, you know. So we weren't that far from the St. John's Church, and like the St. John's Catholic Church, and Bernard, he was a mass server there, you know, and so he said, we'll go to that church, we'll go to church and see if we can get some matches. I know where there's some matches. There's a little room outside there in the church, you know, so we goes in the church and clowning around, you know, we get up on the altar and, you know, acting silly and taking a book out and just getting really silly, you know. Then we went back there where that little room there where the priest, you know, would come in, and I remember there was a wine, the mass wine, you know, and oh, it was empty, that jug, but we still went, took the last drops out of it, and we laughed, you know. And all at once there was a noise outside, and here the priest come in, right in the door. And we couldn't get out the door, you know, we were locked in that little thing. And there was a little bit of a shelves or something in there. Under that shelf there's a kind of a curtain there, you know, and we got in there, you know, because we could hear him come right in, you know. I forget the name of that priest. I think he's an old priest. And he was talking to himself, you know. And we need some mouse traps. Got 'em out, there must be some mice in here. Oh, we need new hymn books. And he was talking to himself and talking to himself. And we just hid that thing, we couldn't get out. And there was a door going outside. Like we had our horses tied behind the church there, you know, and so we were going to dash for that door, but we couldn't, you know. So he was scurrying around all over and then he came right in that little room and right beside us, you know. And we were quiet, and this just went on forever. And he was talking and talking to himself, you know, the priest. Then finally he went outside. And then you hear the door shut behind. Then he went in his Jeep. I think he had a Jeep. Yeah, and then he was trying to start that Jeep and it wouldn't start. And back in those days that was common thing, and they'd always tell you, like the old timers, oh, if it don't start, leave her sit for a minute and then try it again. And and then stop and wait a while, again, you know, and stop. And we were looking out, peeking out the door. We went to the front. Finally that Jeep started and away he went. And Bernard opened the door and he held up, "Go, you old son of a bitch, you!" And we laughed, and Bernard, he was laughing so hard, and oh, his wires were just coming out, and then we got trying to get on our horses, and we couldn't get on our horses, you know. We were laughing so much, and you know, when you're laughing, you can't get on a horse, and we were leading them horses just about halfway home, but you know, we were laughing so much there. This is an old Porter Wagner tune. Oh, that's Hank Williams' tune here. be angry with me, darling, if I fail to understand all your little whims and wishes all the time. Just remember that I love you, and like any foolish man, my mind stayed kinda happy because you're mine. Well, I recall that first time that I flirted with you, dear, when you jokingly said, come and be my bride. Now time has turned the pages, it's the sweetest joke on earth to have you here forever by my side. Someday you're gonna hurt me, I've been hurt in love before. Only God can know, and time alone will tell. In the meantime I'll keep loving you with all my heart and soul, and pray to God to make it work if it be His will. Don't be angry with me, darling, if I fail to understand all your little whims and wishes all the time. Just remember that I love you, and like any foolish man, my mind stayed kinda foggy 'cause you're mine. So any continue on my story there, and then we pulled into Kuipers, you know, and Mrs. Kuiper, oh, that was a kind woman, and she was the kindest woman I think I ever met in my life, Hilda. And anyhow, she called us and come in for supper, and Alphonse come out there, no. Get that boy home. Raymond, he should go home. It's going to be dark pretty soon. No, don't have supper. Well, come in for supper. No, go home. Tell him to go home. It's getting late. So I go home. I couldn't come in for supper. And then I got on my horse and was going to take off. And here comes Hilda running off. Here, take this. You can eat on the way here. And take this here for your mother. And your mother, here, take this out. And holy, I could hardly grab that stuff. But that's the way she was all the time, giving you stuff always, you know. And Alpha was going, oh, let him go home. Make him go home. Yeah. Frankie Rogers, one of his best fiddle tunes, as far as I'm concerned, that he ever wrote was Skiffle Fiddle. Oh boy, did he get a good tune there. I recorded that tune on the fiddle. I'll play it on the, it don't sound too good on the accordion. to have like every school's got a real clown, and we had a real clown in our school. His name was Romick Lathan. Call him Slim Lathan. And so Romick, he was outrageously funny, you know. And that was in his days when he was about in grade 7, I guess. And he was always clowning, you know, and had this little teacher, this Mrs. Gordon, you know, and he'd do things like for instance, he'd walk up with a book wanting to see the teacher, and the teacher would be talking to the class, you know, and he'd come up and the first thing you know, he'd be behind the teacher, you know, and then he'd put on antics behind the teacher, you know, for the other kids, you know, and the teacher would be talking away, and then Romick, he was pretending he was cutting her hair, you know, and he went behind her with a clipper, and he was going and combing and clipping, you know, and he was going and go, and them kids were laughing, you know, and the teacher laughed along. She thought, you know, they're all laughing at her stories, you know, and all at once she turned around and he couldn't have time to put his hands down, so he had his hands up and he stretched, and the teacher, Marcy, what is the matter with you? Oh, I'm just so tired. Oh, I didn't sleep good last night. And then he sat down, you know, and the teacher go over there, you know, are you okay, Romick? Yeah, oh yeah, I'm okay. Oh man, he was funny. See, I think Bill Anderson must have wrote this on Tips of My Finger. Yeah, he did. I reached out my arms and I touched you with soft words. I whispered your name. I held your love on the tips of my fingers, but that was as close as I came. My eyes had a vision of sweet lips yielding beneath my command. I held your love on the tips of my fingers, but I let it slip right through my hand. And I let it slip right through my hand. Somebody took you when I wasn't looking, and I should have known from the start. It's a long, long ways from the tips of my fingers to the love hidden deep in my heart. To the love hidden deep in my heart. was so outrageous. And at one time the teacher was reading us a story after the noon hour. You know, she'd sit there and read us a story. And the story continued on all the time and read from the book. And then she left off the story where a little boy got lost, you know. And then she put the book away. So we'll leave that little boy lost till tomorrow. And she closed the book up. And then Romick, he puts up his hand. Teacher, can me and Raymond go out and look for that little boy now? You know, he was so funny. Here's an instrumental tune here. My Adobe Hacienda. I played this tune for a dance. I think I was only about 11 years old. I got this from Margaret Hardis, and she played the accordion. Got this. tell you one more story about Romick laughing. And then one time there were shelves there in the school, and a table and some shelves, and then there was a chimney going up by them shelves, and then all those things were quiet in school, and Romick, he got up with a book, you know, and a pencil, and he jumped up on that table, and then he got up there on one of them shelves, and he was looking at the chimney and them shelves, and he was pretending he was writing, with that book, and he was pretending he was writing and he was looking at that chimney and back, just putting on a show, for the kids. And the kids were laughing, and the kids were laughing at him, and I mean, he just acted like he was a big inspector or something, with his pencil and book there. And all of a sudden the teacher turned and looked, Romick, what in the world are you doing up there? And by this time the kids were laughing so hard. That teacher, you could just fool her. She believed everything, And, I'm just, my dad wants me to find out how this chimney is built in here. And he kept on like, oh, he was just outrageous. He's just funny, Talk back, trembling lips. Damn, I don't know who sings this song. Every day our love's a battle royal. Here it seems that fighting is all we do. But if I let you know how much I love you, you'll do things to me you shouldn't do. So talk back, trembling lips, shaky legs, don't just stand there. Don't let her know she's getting through to you. Talk back, trembling lips, burning eyes, don't start crying. Heart, don't let her know that you're breaking in two. Time you up and hurt my feelings, I pretend that it couldn't matter less. I'm thrown all of my emotions behind my broken heart, I guess. So talk back, trembling lips, take your legs, don't just stand there. Don't let her know she's getting through to you. Talk back, trembling lips, burning eyes, don't start crying. Heart, don't let her know that you're breaking in two. Heart, don't let her know that you're breaking in two. This is another tune here called Four-Leaf Clover. That's another real old tune. They used to play them tunes for dances many years ago. tell you a story. This little girl here, Shirley McClellan, her first day at school. So little Shirley, she came to school, and then the teacher, she read off the names. I don't know what that's called, a roll call or something, and you'd have to answer present, you know. And so the teacher called out Shirley McClellan's name, Shirley McClellan, and Shirley never said nothing. So the teacher goes over to Shirley, real kind of understanding, like, you know, and Shirley, when I call out your name, you say present. Can you say that, Shirley? Say present? And Shirley looked up and she says, a doll. This little Joe the Wrangler, I'm sure this is a true story, because I heard many songs written about little Joe the Wrangler, so I'll bet you it's written from a true story. Probably the old time cattle drives, you know. It's little Joe the Wrangler, he'll wrangle nevermore, for his day with Remuda they are o'er. Was a year ago last April when he rode into our camp, just a little Texas stray and all alone. It was late one sunny evening when he rode into our herd on a little Texas pony he called Shaw. With his broken shoes and overall, a rougher looking kid, no you never in your life before had saw. His saddle was a Texas cat, built many years ago, with an OK spraw and 1 foot lightly strung, and his hot roll in a cotton sack so loosely tied behind, while his canteen from his saddle horn had swung. He said he had to leave his home, his pa had married twice, and his loo-wah whipped him every day or two. So he saddled up his pony and head out on his way, trying hard to paddle now his own canoe. We would give him work, he'd do the best he could, though he didn't know straight up about a cow. So the boss, he cuts him out a mouth and kindly puts him on, for he sorta liked this little kid somehow. He taught him to wrangle horses and to get to know them all, and to get them in at daylight if he could, and to follow the chuck wagon and always hitch the team, and to help the cook with chow and carry wood. We had driven from the Pecos, the weather it was fine, we'd camped down in the south side in the bend. When the northern started blowing, we doubled up our guard, for it take all hands to hold the cattle in. And little Joe the Wrangler was called out like the rest, although the bear kid barely reached the herd. When the cattle they stampeded, like hailstones they fled, soon all were swiftly riding for the lead. Neath the street, the fork lightning, the first horse we could see, it was little Joe the Wrangler in the lead. He was riding old Blue Rocket, a slicker o'er his head, trying hard to check the cattle in their speed. At last we had them milling and kinda quieting down, and the extra guard back to the camp did go. But there was one of us missing, and we knew it at a glance. Was our little Texas stray, poor Wrangler Joe. Next morning, just at daybreak, we found where Rocket fell was in a washout 20 feet below. Beneath his horse all mangled was a scene right out of hell. Was our little Texas stray, poor Wrangler Joe. I'm going to play this song as I was going to tell you another joke and I forgot it. Oh. The Never Ending Love. Years ago they used to play this tune, just something terrible. They played it too much, till everybody just about got sick of it. A Never Ending Love for You. I don't know who sang that again. Yeah, Roma, he was a clown after after he left school, and I remember the big thrashing crew, bunch of men on the table, you know, and Romick was there, and Alphonse Kuiper, he liked to talk, and he was telling a story. Yeah, at lunch we worked at that other place there, and you know, we had meat sandwiches, every day had meat sandwiches. And you know, everybody was getting tired of meat sandwich. Then one day, they brought out some jam sandwiches. And everybody grabbed them jam sandwiches, and nobody grabbed the meat sandwiches. And you know, and Roma keep, yeah, well, it's the same thing with a horse, you know. Horses are the same way. And, you know, you feed a horse straw and straw every day, and nothing but straw. And then finally you come out there with a pail of oats and you give them some oats. They'll leave that straw and they'll go to the oats. And of course everybody laugh, you know. This tune is a Maple Leaf two-step. That's a Ward Allen fiddle tune. They used to play that tune over the radio every day and every day. That was such a popular tune. I think that was the first time that Ward Allen got noticed with his good fiddle tunes in the Maple Leaf two-step. Right about that same time, I was probably 14 years old or something like this, and we were thrashing together in the thrashing crew with Kuipers with Alphonse Kuiper and Bernard's dad and my dad. And Bernard, he was, at that time, he was kind of a devil too yet, like he always was, you know. And so anyhow, we done jobs, me and Bernard, we done jobs like the smaller job, shoveling grain in the granaries, you know. So then Bernard, he would take a pail of dirt, you know, and then he'd open the blower there in the thrashing machine, like when our dads weren't looking, you know, and then when nobody was looking, then he'd open that cover, you know, and they'd throw that pail of dirt in there, and that blower would blow, you know, and that come out of that pipe, you know, and the whole sky just was all dust and dust all over, you know, and these old men, you know, like our dad and Alphonse Kuiper, they'd look up at the sky. What's causing that dust? That dust. I wonder what's causing that dust. And then Bernard and me would stand right beside them and listen to them talk, you know. And I don't know what. I think it's them sheaves that's coming out of that, them thistles. I think that's what's making that dust. What's making that dust, you know? And Bernard, he just stood there, real, you know, never. No expression at all on his face, just stood there, and so then we'd get behind something after a while, and then me and Bernard, we'd laugh, and Bernard, he'd laugh so hard, oh, he used to get such a kick out of that. So then, after a while, then Bernard, he was going to get a pail of dirt again, you know, but that pail of dirt, then he looked behind, here was his dad standing right behind him. And his dad said, "What are you doing with that pail of dirt?" "Oh, I'm just," he had an excuse, you know, and stuff. And he put that dirt down again, you know, and everything. Alphonse, he looked at that pail, he looked at that blower, he looked at that blower and everything. Then he went over to my dad. "Bill, you know what? I think them boys, they're fooling us." This is a really mansion on the hill. I think that's the song that they said that Hank Williams, he went and he wrote that song in 20 minutes or something like that. Or is that another song? Yeah, I think that is a very popular song, a very well-written song. Tonight, down here in the valley, I'm lonesome and oh how I feel, as I sit here alone in my cabin. I can see your mansion on the hill. Do you recall when we parted? The story to me reveal. You said you could live without love, dear, in your lovely mansion on the hill. The light shines bright from your window. The trees stand so silent and still. I know you're alone with your pride, dear, in your lovely mansion on the hill.